What we're going to take a look at is something that we haven't shown yet in these modules, and that is the sorting operation. Because you can see right now we have rough mills, center drills, taps, rough finish mills or contour mills, and we really want to align those in the correct order. So we rough everything, then we finish it, then we'll come back and drill last. So we're not trying to center drill through a bunch of material here. The way you can sort any set of tools or operations in CamWorks is you just right click on the setup, go to sort operations, and then here are all the operation types that you may or may not have noticed from our previous lesson where we went through the technology database. You can sort by operation type or by tool. If you go by tool, it shows the tools that are currently being used. So if you wanted all of the all the 3/4 inch end mills together, then the 1/4 inch, and then all the drills, you can do it that way. What we're looking for today is we want the rough mill to fall under face mill and then the contour mill. So what it'll do is it'll sort any face mills, then roughing, finishing, then center drill and drill. Now you can save all these as a scheme if you wanted to. You can do this order and then go then by tool. So if you wanted to make it more intricate, we're just going to go with the operation type, hit apply. When you do that, you'll notice the tree automatically updates over here for that setup. So with that sorted, we're going to go down to our last group, which has a majority of the roughing and finishing. And we're going to right click and we're going to go to sort. We're going to drag the rough mill up and then drag the contour up, hit apply. And we now have the roughing and the finishing that's going to be completed prior to the rest of the machining or drilling of holes. Now one thing we do notice is right here we have a tool that wants to go clean up the outside. I'm not really concerned with that one today, so we're just going to highlight it, hit our delete key, and delete the rough mill. And then if we come down to here, we'll have another one in that scenario, so we'll delete it. And yes, we want to delete the dependent, so that way it deletes the finish mill with us. So that way we're getting directly into roughing and finishing. Now, at this point, we can go ahead and say generate toolpath. And what you may notice is the toolpaths look like they normally do inside of part machining. And that's because even though we're in assembly mode, CamWorks automatically takes all those features and creates them at the part level, as you can see here in the part feature manager, and then it copies those to the correct setups over here. Now one of the cool things about this is you can actually program a part in CamWorks in part mode, come to the assembly level, and then import those features from the part. So you can go import part data, and anything that you had programmed in CamWorks previously in the part mode will automatically get translated to the assembly level. Some guys like to program in part mode and then put it in the assembly and then just import everything over. It works better for their workflow and how they handle things. For me, it doesn't really matter either way, but it is nice if you were programming a part and then you want to put it in a big fixture or you want to build some tooling for it. You don't have to reprogram everything that's there. It's already in the CamWorks file. So with our operations set over here in the operations tree, we're going to take a look at one other thing, and that's going to be counting this as a fixture, because we don't want the head to come over and hit this, or if it does hit it, we want to be aware of it so we can select a better tool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to the setup, we're going to right click, and then we're going to go edit definition. Now this can also be done just by double clicking on the setup as well. And if we come over here, you're going to see in this area where you define your setup origin or your part origin or fixture coordinate system, you're going to see a tab called Fixtures. And in the Fixtures, you have the ability to select what you want to be designated as a fixture for CamWorks. And it doesn't have to be drawn as an exact fixture tool or chuck like it is here. You could just have a rectangular block out there that you could pull from and say, hey, avoid this area. Now, one of the things I like doing on this is I like changing my view orientation because it makes selection a little bit easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag a window around these parts, and it automatically adds every part that was inside that window. And I'm going to say I want to avoid all. Now, you do have the ability to do simplified or exact. If you do simplified, it just basically makes simple rectangles around the part. we're going to use exact, and what that'll do is it'll actually calculate the geometry that is here. A little more accurate, takes a little bit longer to solve, but if you're in that really high tolerance scenario where you have to be really close to the fixture, using exact works really well. So we're going to hit OK. It's going to ask to regenerate tool paths for that setup, so we're going to hit yes. And then CamWorks is going to go through and generate all the tool paths now to take into account any of those fixtures and try to avoid them. Okay, once those are set, what we're going to do is we're going to go to this setup, and we're going to do the exact same thing for each setup, which is nice because you have the ability to tell CamWorks in certain tooling scenarios we don't have to worry about a fixture. In other ones we really want to worry about this specific area. So instead of just having one group of fixtures for everything, you have the ability in each setup to tell CamWorks what you want to find. So we'll go down through all 4 of these. Now you'll notice here I didn't get the actual jaws, so in this scenario I'm going to select those. I'm going to say avoid all, and we'll do exact. And finally we'll go down and we'll add a fixture for the last one. So avoid all.